Okie doke. What have I got here? I've got a 236 volts of single phase coming in from my laundry room, plugged in here, and it just goes into a block here to keep everything clean. So you hear line 1, line 2, and neutral. And it just goes line 1, line 2, neutral over to the FM50. So L1, L2, L3. Neutral. And then the 3-phase comes back out of the unit, back down to here, and it goes to these 3 leads which go to the saw. So T1, T2, T3, and then here's the neutral. Goes out here to my 3-phase 3536 motor, 3526. Can't really see it here, but I'll try to zoom in. It's just a little diagram there. And then this motor has those little tags on the cords which tell you what the leads are. So that's usually kind of the hardest part, actually. And that, they correspond here to 1, 2, and 3. Black, red, and white. The FM50 out of the box comes up set at 5 hertz, which is really, really slow. I mean, we want it to be at 60 to use with a radial arm saw. I'm going to go ahead and just turn it on using the switch here. You can see that's what 5 hertz gets you. Kind of cool in a way. I mean, if you want to use your GA to cut metal, for example, you can slow it way down and do an appropriate job with the right blade. Here, I'm going to stop it. To make changes, so by default, these up and down arrows will just control the frequency. If you go all the way down, so this is going to go from 0 to 60. If you hit 60, it'll go back to 0, etc. So it goes in a loop. I'm going to bring it all the way down to 0 and then stop at 60. So here we are at 60 hertz. I'm going to turn it on. You'll see the motor spinning at full speed. It's by default set to spin up. Take 5 seconds to spin up and 5 seconds to spin down. And those are functions 1 and 2, respectively. To get into the functions, you hit this. It'll tell you what function you're on, function 1. You hit data enter to see what the value is currently set to. It's currently set to 5 seconds. I'm going to lower that down to 1/4 second. So it's going to spin up very quickly. Then you got to hit data enter to enter that value, and it'll say end. Meaning that that's logical. Meaning you just entered that value. Now I'm going to fire it up, and you're going to see it spin up very quickly. And still let 5 seconds spin down. Go back into focus, little guy. Function mode, I'm going to go up to function 2, which is the decelerate. Hit enter and see it set to 5. I'm going to lower that down to, well, we're just going to make it a 1/2 second. Now these values are extremely aggressive, and I would definitely not recommend them with a blade attached. You'd have to dial in and figure out what isn't going to tear your saw apart. And it depends on the blade. Now you see it's going to spin up and down very quickly. So that would probably rip the, with a blade spinning on this, it would probably spin this nut off, slowing it that fast, especially if you had like a 14-inch blade. That's just crazy. So I usually set it to about 4 seconds or 5 seconds to spin down, and about 2 seconds to spin up. You'll just see by watching the saw what's going to be torquing the saw. And if you keep it too aggressive, you'll basically pull the saw apart using the motor over time. The other function I want to show is the switch. On the front here you see all these leads. One of them is marked 12 volts, and I've got a cable hooked to that. There's another one here that says FW, which is forward, and then RE, which is reverse. The function is function 10. So I'm going to zip up to 10. It's currently set to 0. If you set it to 1, wait. That is basically going to disable this run stop switch and enable this. Now when I touch this 12 volts to forward, it'll spin up the saw. Release it. That is your on-off switch. Actually, and I can hit the reverse here and you'll see the thing spinning in reverse. I try to do that with a single phase. It's just a quick example of the extreme power of this unit. You could do all kinds of crazy things. What else can I show? That's really about it. You would just wire, the other end of a switch to this forward. You could use a light switch or anything. And now you've got basically an on-off switch that you could run up the arm or whatever to control your motor. And I can notice here that the run stop switch is now disabled. That is the long and the short of it. You can see here, just a general note, I have this clamp to the table and screwed to this piece of plywood. I don't want 236 volts floating around where I can bump into it. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email and I'll help you out. Thanks.